Hi, it's Paul Bates with GreatDad.com, and he's Hayden. And today we have a clock radio from JBL. Okay, so it's a beautiful clock. Let me explain that I had a very nice clock radio made by Logitech, and it had two weighted speakers, more like a Bose style clock radio. Really good sound. It had those, but it had those old-fashioned iPod connector. This is like 10 years old, and the technology is getting a little bit old, and it started to go on the fritz a little bit. So I needed to replace it with something, and I looked around on Amazon, and there's a lot of stuff from no-name brands, plus or minus in the style department, and then finally, just recently, this JBL came on Amazon, and I was really attracted to it, and got this as a replacement, right? Mm-hmm. So let's talk about what the main things are that you would look for in a clock radio, and I'll tell you how this does in relationship to them.
I mean, just generally like I don't know, an alarm, I guess.
Yeah, alarm. Yes. So the alarm does work really well. It has this when you first turn it on, it has this ambient light sensor. So I don't know how well that works. Yeah, you're right. Hey, it comes on so it lights up the room. If you were in like a really pitch black room, it would give you a little bit of light in the room. In our bedroom with a shade that doesn't work too well for completely darkening the room, it doesn't light up the room, but it does provide a little bit of light. It has a nice soothing. It has a choice of a bunch of soothing or semi-soothing music alarms that you can set. Or you can set it to go off with a predetermined piece of music from your phone. Right.
And does it have a speaker?
It has a speaker. Okay, so this now we'll quickly go into one of the negative parts. Because I had a Bose style weighted speaker system, this Logitech thing. It had really good speaker quality. The thing was just a little bit wider. It weighed a lot, but it did put out really good sound. Surprisingly, from JBL, considering that they make speakers and electronics, sound on this thing is not great. It's a typical clock radio sound. You're not going to, even though it has capabilities to link it with my Bluetooth, play music through it, it's marginally better than listening it just through the iPhone. So for music, not your choice. Right.
Is there anything else on this device that I should be aware of?
Well, it does have a snooze. The snooze works really well. It's right on top. The one thing that is it's easy to reach. The snooze is right on the top, and it's easy to feel in the dark. Or if you're reaching over, it's easy to feel. The one thing that's hard is that if you want to turn the alarm off, that is just a little tiny button like this, and I wish that were a little bit easier to use. Easy to snooze, but they use a lot of pressure-sensitive buttons. Just in general, that are not easy to use if you're fumbling in the dark. Like if you want to put on the alarm and you're doing it in the dark, you have to push these pressure-sensitive buttons, but they're completely flat. So in the dark, pushing 1 to turn on the alarm or change it to 2, not easy to do unless I'm kind of getting more of a feeling where they are, but there's a lot of fumbling around for it. On the plus side, it has a really good backup battery system. Big knock on the Logitech, and I don't know if this happens a lot, but the backup battery never works. So if the power went out or somebody kicked the cord, I'd have to reset the clock entirely from scratch, which is really irritating when it was happening a lot. We had a cleaning person who used to unplug the clock radio every time. So every week I was setting that up, and it's a small thing that's irritating. So this one works really well. It has Bluetooth, as I said, that connects. It has automatic daylight savings time adjustment. So when the time comes to change the time for the clock, it does that automatically.
You also said one thing about how the charger on your other one didn't work. So what does this offer to charge your phone with?
Oh, good point. And this is really a crucial thing, because that was one of the things that I was looking for, was this the USB connectors. So to charge the phone, the iPad, The idea was get this, I could get rid of all the unsightly cords, I just have one little cord right here on the side, and it works really, really well. The problem, though, is that depending on the orientation of your clock, that might be on the wrong side of your clock. So I sleep on the left side of the bed, so the clock is facing me like this, and the outlets are facing that way. So, you know, the ideal thing would have been to have the outlets, the USBs, on this side, so the cords would have been hidden. Consequently, I don't use these USB cords because they're kind of ugly. People who do come into the bedroom say, "Oh, Newton, nice new clock," and they're very attracted by the look. Didn't want to muck that up with cords coming out the side that you could see, right?
Okay.
Okay. So it's got a little tiny, cute little antenna here. Antenna reception wasn't great. Sound quality isn't great anyway, so I'm not using that for that. I kind of wish I'd gotten something that was maybe same form factor, didn't even have the radio, and would have been cheaper. But all in all, it's a nice clock. But I think anybody
Very aesthetic.
very aesthetic. I mean, that's the major thing, is that it looks really pretty, works really well, tells you what the date is, does all the things a clock radio does.
Has the nice light.
Has a nice light in the back. Huge JBL branding on the back in case you ever forget where it's from.
You'll never see it though, so.
And it costs $99. So $99 on Amazon. And I bought this on my own, so I'm not taking it back. Okay. Paul Banis of GreatDad.com. He's Hayden. Till next time.